Once upon a time, in a village surrounded by lush green hills and sparkling blue rivers, there lived a little girl named Sunny. Sunny wasn't called that because of her name. Her real name was Ella. She was called Sunny because she always had the brightest smile on her face, no matter the situation. Sunny lived with her parents and her little brother, Max. Her father was a carpenter, and her mother made the best bread in the village. Max, however, was a grumpy little boy. He believed that smiling too much would tire his face. One day, as Sunny and Max walked to the village market, they heard an unusual sound. A soft sobbing coming from behind a large oak tree. Curious, Sunny approached and found a tiny, scruffy puppy sitting there with a hurt paw. "Oh, you poor thing," Sunny said gently, crouching down. She pulled a piece of cloth from her bag and carefully wrapped the puppy's paw. "You'll be okay. Let's get you home." "Why bother?" Max grumbled. "It's just a stray. Let it fend for itself." Sunny frowned at her brother but didn't argue. Instead, she picked up the puppy and carried it home. Over the next few days, she cleaned the puppy's wound, fed it, and gave it a name, Buddy. To her surprise, Buddy started wagging his tail more and more each day, his once sad eyes now sparkling with joy. One morning, dark clouds gathered over the village. These weren't ordinary rain clouds. They seemed heavy with sadness. The villagers felt tired and gloomy. Shops stayed closed and children stopped playing outside. Even Max became quieter than usual. The village elder, Granny Fern, called everyone to the town square. "These clouds are not natural," she said, her voice trembling. "They are the result of negative energy. We need to bring back the sunshine in our hearts to chase them away." "But how can we do that?" a man asked. "We've all been feeling so down." Granny Fern smiled. "Positivity is the key. Acts of kindness, smiles, and laughter can break through even the darkest clouds." Sunny's eyes lit up. She knew exactly what to do. Sunny's plan. Sunny rallied the village children and came up with a plan. They would visit every house and perform small acts of kindness. Some would sing cheerful songs, others would tell funny stories, and a few would help with chores. "Positivity is contagious," Sunny told them. "Let's spread it like sunshine." Max rolled his eyes. "This is pointless." Sunny simply grinned. "You'll see." The children got to work. At one house, they helped an elderly man carry firewood. At another, they delivered fresh bread to a sick neighbor. Sunny and Buddy visited the baker, who had stopped making bread because she felt uninspired. Sunny told her a silly joke, and Buddy wagged his tail so enthusiastically that the baker couldn't help but laugh. As the children spread positivity, something magical began to happen. The dark clouds over the village started to thin. Light began to peek through, and the villagers felt their spirits lift. They started coming out of their houses, smiling and chatting with one another. Max, watching all this, felt a twinge of curiosity. He decided to join Sunny on her next visit. They went to Mrs. Willow's house, where the widow sat alone, looking out of her window. Sunny brought her a bouquet of wildflowers and sang her a cheerful tune. Max, feeling awkward, told Mrs. Willow about the time he accidentally fell into a barrel of apples. It wasn't even that funny, but Mrs. Willow laughed until tears rolled down her cheeks. "Thank you, dears," Mrs. Willow said. "You've made my day." For the first time, Max felt a warm glow in his chest. It was as if Mrs. Willow's happiness had bounced back to him. By the end of the day, the dark clouds were gone, and the village was bathed in golden sunlight. The villagers celebrated with a feast, everyone contributing something. Sunny was the guest of honor, but she insisted on sharing the spotlight with her friends, and even Max. Max had learned something important that day. Smiling didn't tire his face, it filled his heart. From then on, he and Sunny became a team, spreading positivity wherever they went. And Buddy? Well, Buddy became the happiest dog in the village, wagging his tail so much that people joked he might fly away one day. The villagers never forgot the lesson Sunny taught them. Even a small act of kindness can light up the darkest day. And so, the village remained a sunny place, not just because of the weather, but because of the warm hearts of its people. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Lamora, there was a small village called Willowbrook. The village was famous for its vast fields of golden wheat and its serene, crystal-clear lake. But most of all, it was known for the mysterious Whispering Woods, a magical forest said to hold secrets and treasures beyond imagination. Every child in Willowbrook grew up hearing stories of the Whispering Woods. Some spoke of a golden harp that could heal any sorrow, while others whispered about a magical mirror that revealed one's true heart. But the most fascinating tale was that of the Crown of Harmony, an enchanted crown that had the power to bring peace and prosperity to the entire kingdom. The people of Willowbrook lived simple, happy lives, until one fateful year when drought struck the land. The once lush fields turned barren, the lake dried up, and the villagers began to lose hope. Arguments broke out over the dwindling resources, and the once close community became fractured. Among the villagers was a young girl named Mira. Mira was kind-hearted and resourceful, always helping others despite having little herself. She often tended to the sick and shared what little food she had with her neighbors. Seeing her village fall apart broke her heart. One evening, as Mira sat by the edge of the dry lake bed, she overheard two elderly villagers arguing. One blamed the drought on the gods, while the other believed it was the work of a curse. Mira's grandmother, who sat nearby, placed a gentle hand on her shoulder and said, "Perhaps the time has come for someone to seek the Crown of Harmony. Only it can mend our village and our hearts." Mira's eyes widened. The Crown of Harmony? But that's just a story, isn't it? Her grandmother smiled knowingly. Stories often hold truths, child. But finding the crown will not be easy. The Whispering Woods test those who enter, and only the pure of heart can succeed. Determined to save her village, Mira decided to venture into the Whispering Woods. She packed a small bag with water, bread, and a lantern. The villagers, though skeptical, wished her luck, for they had no other hope. As Mira stepped into the forest, a gentle breeze seemed to welcome her. The trees whispered softly, their leaves rustling in an almost melodic way. The air was cool and smelled of earth and flowers. Though beautiful, the forest was vast and confusing, with paths that twisted and turned unexpectedly. After hours of walking, Mira came to a wide, flowing river. The water shimmered with a silvery glow, but its current was strong and unyielding. On the far side of the river, an elderly woman sat crying. Mira called out, "Why are you crying, ma'am?" The woman looked up, her eyes filled with sorrow. "I am trapped on this side of the river, and my family is on the other. I've been here for days, unable to cross." Mira hesitated. The river looked dangerous, and she wasn't sure how to get across herself. But she couldn't leave the woman behind. Taking a deep breath, she said, "I'll help you." Using branches and vines she found nearby, Mira fashioned a makeshift raft. It was wobbly and took great effort to steer, but Mira managed to ferry the woman across the river. As soon as they reached the other side, the woman transformed into a shimmering spirit. "You have passed the first test," the spirit said. "Your compassion will guide you." She handed Mira a glowing blue gem before disappearing. As Mira continued her journey, she came upon a garden filled with beautiful flowers of every color. But something was strange. The garden was utterly silent. No birds sang, no bees buzzed, and even Mira's footsteps made no sound. In the center of the garden stood a stone pedestal with a riddle inscribed upon it. "To bring back the songs and the light, you must give up something bright. What will you leave behind? To restore what others can find." Mira thought about the riddle. She reached into her bag and pulled out her lantern, which she had used to light her way in the dark forest. The lantern's soft glow had been her comfort, but she knew the garden needed it more than she did. She placed it on the pedestal. The moment she did, the garden came to life. Birds began to sing, flowers opened their petals, and a warm light bathed the area. From the pedestal, another spirit emerged, holding a glowing green gem. "You have passed the second test," the spirit said. "Your selflessness will light your path." Mira's journey led her to a grand clearing, where a tall, shimmering structure stood, the Hall of Mirrors. As she stepped inside, she found herself surrounded by countless reflections, each showing a different version of herself. Some mirrors showed her as she was, while others depicted her as older, younger, or even wearing fine royal clothes. At the center of the hall stood a single golden mirror. When Mira looked into it, she saw not herself, but the villagers of Willowbrook, arguing, helping each other, laughing, and crying. She realized this mirror showed the true heart of her village. A voice echoed through the hall. What will you choose, Mira? A crown for yourself or a crown for your people? Mira felt a pang of longing as one mirror showed her wearing the crown of harmony, ruling over a peaceful, prosperous kingdom. But she shook her head. I don't want the crown for myself. I want it to help my village. The golden mirror shimmered and dissolved, revealing a pedestal with a beautiful crown. As Mira picked it up, the hall filled with light, and a final spirit appeared, holding a glowing red gem. You have passed the final test, the spirit said. Your wisdom will unite your people. When Mira returned to Willowbrook, the villagers were amazed to see the crown of harmony. Its glow was gentle yet powerful, and as Mira placed it on a stone in the village square, something incredible happened. Rain began to fall, soaking the dry earth and filling the lake once more. The fields turned green, and the villagers felt a warmth in their hearts that made them smile and forgive old grievances. The crown's magic had not only restored the land, but also the bonds between the people. Mira's bravery and selflessness became a legend in Willowbrook. Though she had brought back the crown of harmony, it was her compassion, kindness, and wisdom that truly saved the village. And so, the village thrived, forever grateful to the girl who reminded them of the power of unity and love.